Top of the morning. I wouldn't say this is the best way to start off the week, but this is how we're starting it off nonetheless. We are kicking off the beginning of our week with an Indiana clown show versus the Washington Mystics. We have Stephanie White going all in on the Kelsey Mitchell dribble, never pass the ball, just shoot. Kelsey Mitchell is about to stay rogue in this game today versus the Washington Mystics, where it looks like Caitlin Clark is about to be iced out once again. We got to get into it. Welcome to Keep the Vision.
Kelsey Mitchell held the ball for 14 seconds, while Caitlin Clark stood wide open at the logo, waving her arms in pure desperation. Stephanie White didn't just watch from the sidelines, she looked like she was about to explode as the shot clock ticked toward zero. This wasn't just a missed pass, it was a blatant statement of defiance that left the entire arena in a state of shock. The Indiana Fever are currently operating like a team divided, and the internal explosion we just witnessed suggests the locker room is officially on fire. Everyone saw it, and now nobody can look away from the absolute wreck this season has become.
Not pass the ball to anybody. Stephanie White is clearly okay with it because she refuses to take her out. She refuses to bench her when she won't stop gunning and jacking up shots left and right. Now, we know that when Caitlin Clark gets hot, Stephanie White calls a hero ball and sits on the sideline like this. I don't like her making those threes. That is what Stephanie White does when Caitlin Clark is doing her thing. But Kelsey Mitchell can run around jacking up shots left and right, and it's not called hero ball. It's called keep letting them fly, Kelsey. Now, the Indiana Fever.
It is becoming impossible to ignore the Kelsey Mitchell situation as she continues to go rogue in ways that defy professional basketball logic. We are talking about a player who treats the court like a personal playground at the local YMCA rather than a WNBA game. The tape doesn't lie, and right now it shows Mitchell dribbling the air out of the ball while the generational talent standing next to her is treated like a ghost. It is a dribble, shoot mentality that has completely stalled the offense, and left fans wondering if she even knows her teammates exist. This isn't just bad luck. It is a systematic exclusion that is tearing the team apart.
Okay, and now they have to go to Washington to take on the Mystics, and they have a head coach who just crashed out, and he not going to be looking to lose again. He crashed out. This dude had to get escorted out by police. He not trying to lose again today. I'm going to let you know that right now. Now, in order for the Indiana Fever to actually win this game, in which I am picking the Washington Mystics to win this game, because I don't believe Stephanie White is going to make the proper adjustments and going all in on Caitlin Clark style. I believe she's going to sit there and allow this Kelsey Mitchell ISO ball, keep shooting. I believe she's going to allow that to.
Imagine playing a video game where the pass button simply doesn't work, and you will understand exactly what watching Kelsey Mitchell feels like right now. It is like her controller is missing the X button entirely, leaving her with only one option: jack up a shot regardless of the coverage. Stephanie White is watching this unfold from the bench, and the frustration is reaching a boiling point that can no longer be contained. You have Caitlin Clark, a player built to facilitate, being forced into a spectator role while Mitchell plays hero ball on every single possession. It is a tactical disaster that is making the Fever look more like a circus than a professional organization.
Tunnel vision? No. Nobody had tunnel vision. It was Kelsey Mitchell that had tunnel vision that couldn't pass the ball to nobody. It was Kelsey Mitchell. Her X button on the controller, that's how you pass. Her X button was not working. She acted like her pass button was broken. The first thing for the Indiana Fever to win this game is going to be getting Kelsey Mitchell under control and playing team basketball. You are not at LA Fitness. You are not at the YMCA. You are not at 24-hour fitness. Play legitimate professional team basketball, Kelsey Mitchell. You don't have to jack it up every single time you touch it.
The most confusing part of this entire ordeal is the blatant double standard Stephanie White seems to be applying to her stars. When Caitlin Clark gets hot and starts pulling from the logo, White is quick to label it hero ball and pull her back, almost as if she is annoyed by the success. But when Kelsey Mitchell runs around jacking up contested shots and ignoring open teammates, the coaching staff remains eerily silent. It is as if they are encouraging Mitchell to stay rogue, while putting Clark on a short leash that kills her natural rhythm. This inconsistency is driving a wedge through the roster, and the tension on the sidelines is becoming palpable for everyone.
You are not at the YMCA. You are not at 24-hour fitness. Play legitimate professional team basketball, Kelsey Mitchell. You don't have to jack it up every single time you touch it. And that's just that. That's going to be the first thing. The second thing, Stephanie White has to figure out, if you're going to be taking Caitlin Clark off ball, which I think is absolutely ridiculous, it's stupid. One, you need to lean in and put the ball in Caitlin Clark's hands and allow her to run that pick and roll with Aaliyah Boston. But we know you don't believe in that. You're not going to really let it happen. So if you're going to be taking her off ball, can you come up with some real plays?
Heading into the matchup against the Washington Mystics, the stakes couldn't be any higher for a team that looks like it is drowning in its own drama. The Mystics are a desperate, hungry team sitting at 4-5, and they have already proven they have the Fever's number this season. They possess something Indiana simply cannot match: raw physical size and a head coach who is willing to get escorted out by police before he accepts another loss. If Stephanie White doesn't rein in the Mitchell show and integrate Caitlin Clark immediately, this game is going to be another embarrassing notch on a growing list of failures. The lack of size in the paint is a massive red flag for the Indiana Fever.
We can't go the whole fourth quarter with Caitlin Clark, not getting her first shot until 1 minute left in the fourth quarter. That is ridiculous. That makes no sense. That is malpractice. That is sabotage, and we all see it. The third thing, Aaliyah Boston's going to have to actually show up and play big. You had an absolute meltdown. Okay, you were getting $6 million. The last time Aaliyah Boston went against Shakira Austin and Kiki Area-Finn and Lauren Betts, they all outplayed her. Aaliyah Boston had 1 rebound in the entire first half versus this Washington Mystics team the last time the Indiana Fever played, and when Caitlin Clark...
We warned the front office all off-season that this roster was dangerously small, but Lynn Dunn called fans and critics complainers online instead of fixing the problem. Now the reality of that neglect is hitting like a ton of bricks as the Indiana Fever prepare to face the Washington Mystics front line. Washington features a rotation of size and physical presence, including players like Shakira Austin, ready to attack Indiana's lack of interior protection. Without a clear plan to counter that size, the Fever are walking into a buzzsaw. Yet the coaching staff seems more focused on perimeter isolation. It is a recipe for disaster that highlights just how disconnected the management is from the reality of the game.
And play big. You had an absolute meltdown. Okay, you were getting $6 million. The last time Aaliyah Boston went against Shakira Austin and Kiki Area-Finn and Lauren Betts, they all outplayed her. Aaliyah Boston had 1 rebound in the entire first half versus this Washington Mystics team the last time the Indiana Fever played, and when Caitlin Clark had to go rogue and start lighting it up, bombs away from 3 to get this team back in the game. Aaliyah Boston was a no-show. No call, no show. You're going to need Aaliyah Boston to show up in this game because Shakira Austin is going to be looking to get busy. Kiki Area-Finn is going to be looking to get busy. Big Lauren Betts at 6'7" is coming off that bench ready to go.
The Indiana Fever road record is nothing short of atrocious, with 3 straight losses in Golden State, Portland, and New York that exposed every single weakness. They aren't just losing, they are getting systematically dismantled because they lack a coherent identity on either end of the floor. Going into Washington should be a chance for a bounce back. But the psychological damage from being iced out seems to be taking a toll on the younger players. When your primary ball handler is being ignored by veteran guards, it saps the energy out of the entire traveling squad, the atmosphere is toxic, and the upcoming game against the Washington Mystics feels like a final exam for Stephanie White's job security.
Each and every blunder that this staff has, we are one step closer to change of some sort, whether it's Caitlin Clark being moved or this entire front office being shown the door and being handed their pink slips of being fired. And I'm fine with either way that it goes. That's my prediction for this game. I think Stephanie White is going to absolutely screw the pooch again today. This lady don't know what she's doing. Get down in the comments. Let me know what you think. This Keep the Vision. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and share the channel.
Stephanie White's inability to make real-time adjustments is the primary reason why I am picking the Washington Mystics to walk away with a win today. I don't believe for a second that she has the authority or the will to stop the Kelsey Mitchell isolation show that has become the team's default setting. Instead of leaning into a style that benefits Caitlin Clark, White seems content to let the ISO ball continue until the wheels fall off. It is a massive failure in leadership that is wasting one of the most anticipated rookie seasons in the history of the league. If you aren't going to play to your best player's strengths, why are you even holding the clipboard? The downfall is coming fast. After the New York game, Stephanie White went to the media and claimed the entire team suffered from tunnel vision, but that was a blatant attempt to protect her favorites. Let's be honest, the entire team didn't have tunnel vision. It was one specific player who refused to move the ball. By generalizing the problem, White is refusing to hold Kelsey Mitchell accountable for the bad shots and the lack of floor spacing. This refusal to name the issue is exactly why the problem persists and why Caitlin Clark looks more frustrated with every passing minute. You can't fix a leak if you refuse to acknowledge which pipe is actually bursting, and right now, the basement is flooding. The Indiana Fever need to remember that they are playing legitimate professional basketball, not a pickup game at 24-Hour Fitness or the local YMCA. The way Mitchell is jacking up shots every time she touches the leather is an insult to the talent surrounding her and the fans who pay to see a team. There is no flow, no rhythm, and zero commitment to a system that involves all 5 players on the court at once. It is embarrassing to watch a professional guard ignore a wide-open Caitlin Clark just to take a contested fadeaway that has a low percentage of falling. If this continues, the clown show label isn't just an insult, it is a perfectly accurate description of the situation. Taking Caitlin Clark off the ball is one of the most nonsensical coaching decisions in recent memory, and it reeks of tactical sabotage. You have the best passing prospect in years, and you are asking her to go down to the block and set screens like she is a power forward. It is a waste of her gravity and her vision, and every other team in the league has already figured out exactly what White is trying to do. They see the play coming from a mile away because it is the same predictable action run 30 times in a row without any variation. By neutralizing Clark's ability to run the pick and roll, the coaching staff is essentially playing defense for the opposing team. We witnessed complete coaching malpractice when Caitlin Clark didn't even get to take a shot until there was only 1 minute left in the fourth quarter. How does a coach allow her most dangerous weapon to go silent for nearly 10 minutes of crunch time while the game hangs in the balance? That isn't just a mistake, it feels like a deliberate attempt to minimize her impact on the game's outcome. Whether it is the coach's ego or a lack of imagination, the result is the same, a frustrated star and a losing record. The fans are seeing it, the analysts are talking about it, and the pressure on Stephanie White is becoming an unbearable weight that she simply cannot shake off anymore. While the backcourt drama takes center stage, Aaliyah Boston's recent performance has been a massive cause for concern for the Fever faithful. She is being paid like a superstar, but in the biggest moments against physical centers, she has looked completely overwhelmed and outmatched. In the last matchup against the Mystics, she managed only one single rebound in the entire first half, which is unacceptable for a player of her caliber. She was outplayed by Shakira Austin and Lauren Betts, leaving Clark to go rogue just to keep the team competitive. If Boston doesn't show up and play big in the paint today, the Fever have zero chance of containing Washington's interior scoring. The role players on this roster need a serious reality check about what their actual jobs are on this basketball team. I am looking directly at Sophie Cunningham, who has been looking off Caitlin Clark far too often when she is wide open on the perimeter. It is as if there is a quiet agreement among the veterans to see if they can win without the rookie, and it is blowing up in their faces. You are there to provide spacing and defense, not to audition for a leading role that you aren't equipped to handle. When the role players start thinking they are the stars, the entire structure of the team collapses. Raven Johnson needs to understand that she was brought into this lineup for her defensive prowess, not to be a volume shooter. She couldn't shoot at a high level in high school or college, so the idea that she is going to suddenly become a knockdown threat in the pros is a fantasy. Teams are playing 4-on-5 defense because they are begging her to shoot, and she is falling right into the trap every single time. Every shot she takes is a possession that isn't going through Caitlin Clark or Aaliyah Boston, which is exactly what the opposition wants. The Indiana Fever are currently leading the league in frustration fouls, and a huge part of that is because they refuse to help each other on defense. We saw Caitlin Clark pick up her 5th foul recently simply because Lexi Hull didn't take a single step to help shut off a driving lane. When you leave your teammates on an island, they are forced to reach and slap at the ball out of desperation, leading to unnecessary whistles. This lack of a defensive unit is a direct reflection of the coaching staff's inability to instill a sense of team over individual. If they don't start moving their feet and helping each other, they will continue to foul themselves right out of every game. Some people are pointing the finger at Austin Kelly, claiming he is the one actually drawing up this stagnant and disjointed offense. If that is the case, he deserves just as much heat as Stephanie White for the absolute mess we see on the court every night. You cannot have an offensive coordinator who doesn't understand how to maximize a generational passer like Clark. If the plays are designed to result in Mitchell isolations and Clark setting screens, then the entire staff is complicit in this disaster. They are handing out pink slips to their own careers with every game they spend ignoring the obvious solution to their scoring droughts. The offense is broken beyond repair. There is a growing sense that a power struggle is happening behind the scenes, and Caitlin Clark is caught right in the middle of it. On one side, you have the veterans who have been in Indiana for years and want to maintain their status. On the other, you have a rookie who has changed the gravity of the entire league. Stephanie White seems to be siding with the old guard, perhaps out of a misguided sense of loyalty or fear of losing the locker room, but in doing so, she is losing the games and the respect of a global audience that can see the talent being wasted. It is a high-stakes game of chicken that the Indiana Fever are currently losing every single day. Washington Mystics are coming into this game with a clear blueprint on how to dismantle the Fever, and it starts with physical intimidation. They know that if they can get into the heads of the Indiana players, the team will start to fragment and turn on each other. All they have to do is play physical defense on Clark and let Mitchell take as many bad shots as she wants. It is the easiest scouting report in the league right now because the Fever are so predictable in their dysfunction. Unless Stephanie White shocks everyone with a completely new approach, the Mystics are going to exploit these internal rifts and walk away with an easy victory on their home floor. Today, we are reaching a point where the status quo is no longer sustainable, and every loss brings us one step closer to a massive organizational shift, whether it is a coaching change, a front office overhaul, or even the unthinkable idea of moving Caitlin Clark to a team that actually wants to win. Something has to give. You cannot keep a franchise in this state of perpetual chaos and expect the fans to keep showing up. The blunder in Washington could be the final straw that forces ownership to take a hard look at who is actually running the show. The pink slips are being printed as we speak, and it is only a matter of time before the hammer drops on this staff. People are starting to ask the hard question: is this actual sabotage or just pure unadulterated incompetence from the coaching staff? It is hard to believe that professional coaches could be this blind to the obvious talent disparity and the effectiveness of certain lineups. When you consistently make choices that lead to your best player being sidelined during winning time, people are going to speculate about your motives. Whether it is intentional or not, the result is the same. The Indiana Fever are a laughingstock in a season that was supposed to be their grand arrival. The clown show isn't just a catchy phrase anymore, it is the defining characteristic of this era. My prediction for this game is a comfortable win for the Washington Mystics simply because I have zero faith in Stephanie White's ability to manage this roster. I expect to see more of the same: Mitchell dribbling into triple teams, Clark standing in the corner, and Boston struggling to find her rhythm in the paint. It is a sad reality for a team with so much potential, but until the leadership changes, the results won't. The Mystics are too disciplined and too big to lose to a team that is fighting itself more than the opponent. Expect another night of frustration and another round of excuses in the post-game press conference that nobody wants to hear. The truth is that the Indiana Fever are at a crossroads that will define the franchise for the next decade. You either embrace the future and build everything around the unique gravity of Caitlin Clark, or you cling to the past and watch the ship sink with the veterans. Stephanie White has a choice to make, but her actions so far suggest she has already made it, and it is the wrong one. If this team doesn't find its soul and start playing like a unified group, the generational opportunity they were handed will vanish into thin air. The fans deserve better. The game deserves better. And most importantly, the players deserve a